Ring, ring, ring. Hello. Look what I found. Hey guys, thanks for staying tuned here. So we walked around a little bit and we found this smaller horn. I know that for me saying that that's a smaller horn, you're like, that thing's massive. This is a smaller horn compared to the one that my friend's dad found me out in the country last year, which is like this huge. I brought that one just in case I didn't find anything good while I was hiking this year. But this thing's really cool. I mean, look at this. It's massive. It's like... So, following video is going to be show you how to take this guy, make a cool template for it, and that way you've got some really cool Eva Foam horns. So guys, stay tuned. Hello. Hey guys, now we're going to get started, and we're going to template the horns out. We've got this huge one right here. Maybe we'll make it into a Minotaur costume, or there was a video game that had a creature like this. We've got this medium-sized one, and then we got a smaller one at home. This is the one right here. We're going to probably make a Wampa horn out of this for Masha Cosplays for her Wampa costume that's going to debut at IkiCon. Alright guys, let's go and get started on this horn by saran wrapping the first layer. Wrap it around, and then make sure that we have a nice tight wrap, and then wrapping the top of it before we move on to the masking tape. So what we've done here is we put that first layer of tape over the saran wrap, and why we've done the saran wrap is so that way it's not directly sticking to the horn, because it would be a little bit harder to peel up. So then we actually template our pieces and take off the slices. They come straight up and they're sticking onto that saran wrap, and that's going to be your base for the tape. And then we're going to show you how to template them. Alright, so we're going to start with the small horn that we templated out up on the ranch. And what I've done here is I've gone ahead and made my markings, made sure I know where everything's templated. So what I did was I started with one line and I cut all the way down to the very end. And like I was saying, the reason that we did the saran wrap was so that way we could just do this. And we can actually just slip it on out like a banana. Boom. That's how easy that is. So the rest of the way, we're just going to go and cut with some scissors. There we go. Just like so. Perfect. All right, now we're going to cut these two guys. Got our small horn here, and we went ahead and templated them out and cut them out, but what I didn't show you was how to actually draw the lines. So, saw in the earlier video when I was taping the smaller horn, there was a giant horn in the background. Here it is. It's another Aoudad horn that I was able to find on the ranch. It's huge. So all you need is, just like the first, we got saran wrap in the first layer, and then I've got masking tape. So I'm going to show you a little trick on how I find those seam lines. So let's begin. Alright guys, here we go. So we're going to go and start with obviously this natural line here. But here's the trick that I'm going to show you. I got a flashlight right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flash it on one side. I don't know if you can see this. You see where it's hitting the highest point of that curve? You see here? Okay. So you see where the shadow begins? So that's where we're going to draw our line. Alright? I've got it right here. Following it. There. Follow it again. Right here. Hold that with my chest.
I'm just going to kind of follow it up. On a horn like this, it's obviously a lot easier. But if you were building a prop that had a lot of interesting angles, it really helps out a lot. Alright, so I'm going to flash the light right here. You can see that line. Alright, so we got quite a few pieces for this bigger horn. Alright guys, so I've templated it out. I went ahead and did that last line. And now before you start cutting, make sure you always have your guidelines. Boop, boop, boop. Alright? Because I know I've been many times before I've cut out this thing because I was really excited, but I forgot my guidelines, so then I wasn't able to line up everything perfectly. On horns, it's pretty easy, but when you're making masks and armor, sometimes things get wonky. So always remember, put your guidelines. Here is the next step. Generally, what I do is once I've got my templates cut out, I copy them onto poster board or graffiti board. But today, just for the purposes of this tutorial, we're just going to go ahead and use the masking tape templates. Okay. I'm going to go template these guys out. I'm going to put this here just to make it easier for me. There we go. Let's see. Oh, perfect. So, I'm going to take my pens here, and I'm going to hold this guy down so it doesn't move around when I am tracing it.
So the next step here is after we've got the foam templates traced and cut, we can start applying Barge contact cement on the edges of the horns and letting them dry. So what I like doing is not using a large container of Barge cement, but actually taking Barge and putting it into these smaller containers, which you can get online or on Amazon. It just makes it a lot easier to apply to the pieces.
I like to glue these edges and then just leave the pieces there for about 5 or 10 minutes so that way they get dry. And then what we're going to do next is just follow the guidelines that we drew on the horns, so that way we can start piecing this guy together. So now we're going to go ahead and start building the horns. And what I like to do is when we've got horns like this, I like to start with the curved pieces first. So, do it like this. I'm going to bend them like that. And I'm going to just start gluing. What I start doing is bending the back and just slowly lining up those pieces, and then bringing this back, make sure it doesn't stick on itself too much. Bring it back and line the pieces up. Remember, this is foam, so if something doesn't look like it's lining up just right, give it a little tug up, push back. It's foam, it's got a little bit of flexibility, got a little give. Okay. Alright. You just kind of go slowly. Slow and steady wins the race, guys. Unless you're at the hotel at the convention. Then you're panicking and you're making these things right there in the hotel room. Okay, there we go. I like to start with that curve off first. Alright. Let that dry a little bit. Okay. So I've got my two pieces right here. I'm actually going to start on this side of the curve. You can do it any way you want. This is just the way I do it. And we're going to follow that. Alright, now we've stuck the long piece on right here. We're going to pop it. You see how the seams are on the back split a little bit? You can come back in, press them down. Okay. Oh. Alright. So now we're going to go and, you see how it was like this? I'm going to flip it inward, so now it's just a curve. You see that? Kind of looking like a horn already. And I'm going to flip it and glue the other side. Guys, I'm gluing this seam, but when you're going to start seeing that the other seams are going to start to kind of buckle. That's okay. Just kind of squeeze on your horn and start resealing. If anything starts to pop open, okay, just press down on a little bit. Okay. Okay. That. Okay. Right. Now here we are at the very end, and we're just going to go real slow. When it comes to these horn tips, you just want to kind of go slowly. Okay. And then at the end, just go and squeeze. And then just go and give kind of a press all the way around. Here we go. Here's our horn put together. Now here, if you want a nice sharp end, like an actual horn, you can do it a variety of ways. You can cut it with your Xacto knife a little bit and bring it down. You can take a Dremel to it and round off that tip. What I like to do is just because I have a workshop and I have the luxury of being here, I use a bandsaw. So I'm going to show you guys how I shape these and also bring these edges and make them a little bit cleaner using a bandsaw. Check out the technique that I'm using right up here. What I'm doing is I'm taking that horn and where those edges are, I'm just going you'll see the action from the side, but from here, I'm just going from side to side and rocking it back and forth, And what that does is it starts smoothing out those edges till they disappear. So that way when you put your Plasti Dip or your Elmer's glue or whatever texture you want to put on your horns, those seams are invisible. So, awesome. Check out this guy. Guys, thanks again for watching this very long tutorial. I hope I gave you guys some good information, some tips and tricks on templating out some horns for a Wampa cosplay or for any sort of monster or armor. These are the finished product of the Wampa cosplay that I helped a buddy of mine out with, a fellow cosplayer. So you guys can see the end result of her cosplay after I'm done talking. But if you like the video, or if you have any other suggestions, or if you make horns in a different way, make sure to comment, leave a comment below, and please hit the like and subscribe button if you'd like to get future tutorials or time lapses talking about makeup and special effects, or just armor making and prop making. So guys, thanks again, and as always, keep creating.